All right, so we're into this about an hour and a half, and I took the liners out. I got the bottom bolt out. First thing, if you're gonna try to get these out and they are seized and that thing on there is just spinning, try to knock that off with like a long screwdriver. Like spin it and just knock it off with a long screwdriver, and then try your damnedest to get a wrench in there. I was finally able to get both sides off, and that thing being stuck on there is gonna make your life. So we finally got that. The other shock over there, I was able to get out. This one, you have to take the top off. I tried taking the top off with an impact. It just spins, so we have an Allen up there. And it's, I mean, this is hot to the touch from me spinning it, so there's definitely a lot of resistance there. These aren't coming off, so I'm not even gonna risk that. And as you can also see, once we get the shock out, this doesn't drop down far enough to get these springs out. So once we do that, I gotta get these control arms off. Those are gonna be a bitch in themselves. This is a fun task. So just keep that in mind if you ever go to do this, especially on a truck that's kind of a little rusty. But basically all I've been doing is just sitting here, hitting that. You can see, yeah, let me get some zoomies up in on that. And it's that tight that I had to double wrench it. You know what I mean? Just be careful, make sure it doesn't like snap off or anything, because if you do, you're gonna be punching something in here and it's not gonna feel good. So I think we're done with the second wrench. I can probably just come in here now that we're like right, oh yeah, that's still tight. That's still pretty damn tight. You guys see what I mean? Like, there's some effort behind that. So I had to put these, somehow the shock tower nuts, these guys here, 5 of them were a 15, and then this one right here, was a 14 because of all the corrosion. Somehow they broke free just fine and did not give me a single issue. That was the easiest part of this endeavor. Also, to do the other side, you gotta cock the wheel all the way to the left because the bar here gets in the way, so you can't get a socket inside of there. This does suck. Like I said, it's been an hour and a half, and on a clean, rust-free truck, this is probably a half-hour job right here, getting this spring out. Well, half-hour job after it's all set up, I should say. So, it shouldn't take an hour and a half. But we're gonna keep chugging along, and I'll let you know. Oh yeah, by the way, update. So he has 2 brand new springs on order for me. So I'm gonna get 2 brand new front stock springs, and he's gonna get my lift kit. That'll be going in here. Not sure how I feel about these shocks. I might end up just cleaning them up, since they are definitely not gonna be long enough for a 5-inch lift. The back ones are fine. It's the front ones that we're gonna have to put my front shocks on. So he's gonna get some nice new front shocks. Everything's gonna look nice and pretty, and then I'll probably sand these down. These are still Bilsteins. I'll probably just sand these down and clean them up, and away she goes. All right, first spring is out. Check that shit out. That thing is stuck in there, solid. The other side, I haven't quite got out yet. Call it about an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, that one's, we're gonna pry that one. But I'm gonna grab the hammer, see if I can't knock this one out on camera. This one here, that's broken. Give me a couple minutes, I'll be right back with you. Here's some satisfaction for you. Look at that. Somehow, the bowl itself is not all that bad. I mean, for what it is, I should say. Also, don't forget to take these off, by the way, if you're gonna do this. On my truck, I forgot, and I'm like, those are looking pretty tight, so you have to do this. Probably grab some pressurized air and like clean this out. We're not gonna put the new springs in that junk. I'm gonna get all the scale off like such. Blow some air in there, and then sweep it all outside. It's a lot of random. Surprised the bump stops are still intact. Knock some of that scale off while we're back behind here. You guys see all that? That's the factory paint right there, factory coating. So, knock some of that scale off. Somehow, this was in decent shape. My truck does not have this. I need to get one on order for my truck. That actually was in good enough shape that it didn't break. So we're not replacing that. On my truck, like I said, I didn't have it, so I have a nut and a bolt in mine. I kind of have 3 bolts put up top, and then I put the spring in, and then just put all 3 nuts once the spring was in. I'm debating on how I want to change these as well, because we do have a nice 5-inch lift, and like the whole system and whatnot, so, like new control arms, all that. So I'm debating on how I want to swap those. There, we got both springs out. There's chilling over in the scrap pile. So if you're gonna do this for yourself, drop the sway bar and drop the top bolt right there. I'm still figuring out these control arms. These things are pretty rusty, so looks like these two will be, the bottom ones will be pretty simple. It's the top ones that I don't exactly know how we're gonna get, but we'll see. We shall see how they go. And I don't know, I hope that it comes with new hardware. Honestly, that would be a lot nicer. Here's the other side here, all dropped nice and down. This is fun. So, remember earlier when I said we were not replacing these? Well, I was actually wrong. These are going on my truck, and these, I completely forgot, have their own second set of studs. So that basically gets rid of these, and now we're having this. And this is what will make the 5-inch lift a finish, you know, the finish off. Because without this, it's only like 3 inches or some shit like that, 2.5, 3 inches. So I think all said and done, this is like 4 to 5, in between 4 and a 5. So I got one bolt all the way tight. That way we'll be able to put the springs in and whatnot, and then get it sitting down, and then we'll unbolt these to put the shock in once it's down on the ground. So I already started messing with this one. I got to get a wrench for the other side. I'm out of breath. This is just the whole running around back and forth on each side, and then sitting and doing this because I don't have my ratchet on me today. Fun, fun. All right, as you guys can see, we got one of the control arms in, and my battery died. And that bottom one down there, we're not gonna get that unless we have a full charge. I got all the Zerk fittings in, mess cleaned up. And this side, like I said, we started working on that, but battery is dead. So, I'm gonna bring the charger and bring my truck back so we can start pulling the other springs. And then, once that comes, throw this thing back together. We'll check the rear, probably send it out for an alignment once everything's all said and done. So we're still waiting on the gallon of oil, and we're probably gonna drop the tank and check the lift pump, figure out what's going on with that, see if it's just a... All right, we got my truck in. I just need to grab some fresh batteries. So we got all that. We have to have this one, I'm gonna have done by the end of the day. We're gonna have to throw the back wheels on it, and if I gotta do any suspension modification back here, we'll just do it with the wheels on. Not a big deal, because once I put them on, they are not coming back off. That's the downside of these rusty trucks. But I also need the jack stands, because we only have 2 sets. So those I need to plop under the frame of this, drop the suspension and whatnot, and then once this is out, we're going to push this back, and then this can come forward, because I need to, once we get the new springs in, we need to drop the rear as well. So whole bunch of conglomerate, but unfortunately I couldn't pull this suspension out of this until this was torn apart and the new stuff was coming. So new springs are on order. Don't worry, we're not going to use those old rusty ones. I don't know what I told you guys earlier, but yeah, we're not going to use those rusty ones. Also, we're going to get to use those rings up top. If you guys notice, my shock tower, mine, I didn't have one of those, so I just used nuts and bolts. So I have a bolts coming from each way, and yeah, just kind of like a nut on top. It's not like the greatest thing in the world, but it works. So no need for new control arms. We have good factory control arms right there. But we're gonna attempt to get the rest of these control arms off. I got the first one on, and then my impact died. The bottom one I got off, but unfortunately, it's gonna be a fight getting that bottom one there. They're 24s, and well, we'll see how it goes. So control arms absolutely suck. So you got to pull that out of the way, and as you can see, all of the damage from the rust over time. The stainless is screwed, but that's the only way to get that bolt out. You have to detach everything. So I figure in the meantime, while we're waiting on that to soak, and I got a new battery over there charging, I want to get that one to 100% before I attempt it again. I have the wheels bolted up, torqued to 140 foot-pounds. We'll bleed the brakes tomorrow once my dad comes back, because then I can have someone helping me. These things are pretty seized. The internet says the same thing. I was looking up some tips and tricks on it, and they're saying they do seize to the bushing, so sometimes you do have to cut them. I'm hoping to be able to avoid that and be able to reuse this, but if I can't, the internet also says that the ones you can get online, all the options suck. So if you can reuse the bolts, that's the best way to go. I'm gonna try. It sucks that you have to take off literally the exhaust. I had to take off the hanger for the transmission. That mounts the exhaust as well, and then we're gonna have to put that back up, but we'll wait and see. I'm gonna let him know and see what he wants to do about that. The elbow's good, but the flange here is not. You can see that it's been leaking for a little while. All right, here's where we're at. I was able to break the nut loose, but unfortunately, this boy's seized, and I could spend 6 hours here unseizing it. You guys can see that. She's all stuck in there. So, there's nothing I can do other than spend 10 hours trying to get these off or cut them. So, I guess I have to get these on order. It is what it is. We got it. That sucked. That fucker is seized in there. So now we gotta get the other side. I'm probably gonna get them installed and then like throw a temporary bolt in there until the new parts arrive. But that sucked. I'm using the angle grinder. Just kind of like, yeah, you know. All right, check it out. We got it in. Obviously, temporary bolt. Once the new ones come in, bam, can send this thing off for an alignment. I'm gonna have to drop this axle way down to get this 5-inch lift under here. I have it way up right now. We absolutely needed this. Look at that. It is pouring. Meanwhile, I can stand right here in the rain and I'm not getting wet. Oh, the building's blocking. I'll go to the other side. By the way, I got the other control arm out. So, 3 hours just to get these damn control arms out. That's ridiculous. And that's only the lowers. But check this shit. It is pouring. We needed it though. It's been so... Bada bing, bada boom. We got the other side in. That one was a little bit of a fight, but we got it. So we have everything dangling now. See the brake lines? Everything's good. I don't know what we're gonna do because I know the shop is needed tomorrow night and into Saturday. So the problem is if I tear this down, I don't know when the springs are gonna come. And if I start with this and throw this back together, this isn't gonna run until probably next week anyway. So I think what we're gonna do is we might just let this sit and chill, get the mess cleaned up and everything, and then come back next week when the springs come for this, quickly throw this together, that way this can drive out, and then throw the springs in this. And we also can't tighten any bolts down on the control arms until this is sitting where it needs to. We need to get new bolts for the bottom, and also, like I was saying about the injectors and figuring out the fuel pump. But this thing's, I mean, I feel like this is down very, very low. So it's low enough that we're able to put the spring back in. So, I'll show you guys. This is a pretty dirty job. I got a lot of it on my face. I don't know if you guys, it doesn't look bad. I hit myself. But pants, everything, you guys, it's gonna be going home and getting a shower. But that's where we're gonna sit with that. I'm gonna make a phone call. We also gotta let him know we need to figure out the exhaust as well. All right, kind of update you guys on the plans. We got everything figured out. So as of now, we're just gonna throw everything back together exhaust wise, and then Monday. So we're gonna come back in here on Monday, get this stock and reverse leveled, pull the springs, and then probably Tuesday is when we're gonna go through and just new springs, or these springs on that. So Tuesday or Wednesday, this thing should be done. We're not gonna work on it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Today's Thursday now. So this will be the last time you see the thing. And then, I think that's pretty much it. We just have to order oil, 1 gallon of oil, and cams, the cam bolts. And then we're gonna bleed the brake. I will bleed the brakes tomorrow though, once my dad gets in here. So, like I said, we're not leaving anything hanging. Nothing's dangling. Everything's, you know, good. Obviously, if you were to leave that connected, this thing would tear that brake hose real quick. So, other than that, she's doing pretty good. Make sure, guys, when you put these in, these don't hit these don't hit, because let me tell you, it's very unfortunate if they do. Like on my truck. Check this out. Don't let that happen. You see that? Don't let that happen. That's why my brake and ABS light's on. There you go. We're done. Mess is cleaned up. Everything looks nice. We're gonna turn this fan off. That's, I think, the last thing I gotta do. Bam. So, let me know what you guys think of this truck. I understand, you know, maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but the whole point of this, I know I got a couple of questions on it. Why put all this money into it? Bleed part out, blah, blah, blah. So, basically get this truck to 100%, and then drivetrain, axles, like everything is going to a different body. But rather than waiting until it's all over there, it makes more sense, get it all fixed and done, and then swap the parts when it's all easy, as opposed to trying to rip and tear everything apart and throw it into something else, not knowing if it works. Basically, get the principle working in this truck, and then move it over to a better body, because as you guys can see, I mean, the frame's all right, but it's definitely pretty scaly and crusty, and there is a few spots on like the cross member back there where it's going to need some work. So it's just one of those. But again, you guys also got to realize, like, people want what they want. You know, some things I want don't make sense to other people, but it's just how it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to go check out the second channel, I just did a video over there of attempting to be a polite and respectful driver. Go over there, check that out. Feel free, go subscribe. It's free. Go like it, you know, do all that. I care more about that channel than I do this one. So trying to get these videos pumped out for you guys every couple of days. I'm trying to get something. So there's plenty of content going out. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'll see you in the next video. If you guys want to send work, cpstevemiller.com. Keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is part-time. I work in here for about 3 to 4 hours a day. And we're also on top of the social media and all the other stuff going on. We're still working on locking down that shop. So hopefully, bam, ghost. Hopefully October 1st, we are all set and in there. So everything I have, including all this stuff here, has to get moved into the new shop. And that's going to be a game changer, because once that comes down, I'm going to be able to hire an employee to be able to take over and make it a full-time business, because I do not have what it takes in me to make this a full-time business. And unfortunately, it's just, I am so tired of diesels, tired of getting dirty. And if I can get one good tech in there that can just do what he needs to do, and then I'll fill in when needed while I focus on other stuff. Obviously, it's only 15 minutes from the house, so it makes sense. But enough ranting. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next video. Later. Send me work. cpstevemiller.com. Second channel, youtube.com/@StephenMiller2.